Hello everyone and welcome to our BrightFunded Funded Star Trader interview. My name is Jelle, I'm the CEO and co-founder of BrightFunded. BrightFunded is a prop trading firm where we grant traders the opportunity to trade with our funded star accounts up to $400,000 after passing our evaluation. Today I'm hosting a Funded Star Trader interview with one of our funded stars, Jordan. Jordan is a crypto trader, he is very successful within the BrightFunded ecosystem, he already acquired a couple funded star accounts and he already acquired a payout which covered all his current challenge fees. So a very inspiring interview, sit back and enjoy. All right, BrightFunded family, it's today another Funded Star Trader interview. Today we have our man Jordan on the interview, funded star Jordan, who is funded with a couple accounts, and Jordan is truly rising within the BrightFunded ecosystem. So to get things started, Jordan, welcome. I'm very happy to have you here. And can you introduce yourself to the community, to the BrightFunded family? So who are you? What do you do in your daily life? And how did you actually got into trading?
Sure. Yeah. And thank you for having me. I appreciate that you guys try to, include the community in these type of updates. And I just appreciate everything you guys are doing. So I'm happy to be here. So I am in my day job, I'm a school counselor. I enjoy like mental health, teaching social skills, teaching coping skills, some things that come in handy with trading coping skills. And we can get to that in a little bit. But I started trading 3 years ago, right after the COVID crash. And at that point I was like in paid groups, taking calls, no idea what the heck I was doing. But in the last 3 years, I feel like I've kind of found a little bit of my style. I definitely don't pretend to be like an expert or a professional, but I'm slowly getting my footing with a couple strategies that seem to be halfway consistent for me. So I'm happy to share that insight. And if anybody can gain anything from it, then that makes me happy.
Great, thanks for the introduction, man. Thanks for the introduction. So it's really fun and it's nice that you also work on a full-time job. So is it a full-time job that you are working at school? Okay. So how did you find like time in between to do your analysis and to execute your trades?
Fair. So I'm fortunate enough that my full-time job is only a 4-day week. They're longer days. So I work Tuesdays through Fridays, like 10-hour days as a counselor. But Mondays are kind of like my charting and my analysis and my trading days, more or less. So every Monday I try to, draw new levels on my charts, set limit orders, that type of thing. And then throughout the week, I'm hopeful that my plans on Monday, my limit orders can hit, and it's kind of automated. I trade the plan and plan the trade. That's something I got from a teacher of mine.
Great. And do you also see, because last Funded Star Trader interview, we had Andrew on our interview, and he is also working a full-time job, and he really said to me that it pretty much helps him because he can be behind the charts all day long. And it's also give you a little bit of rest that you say, okay, I set my limits, I set my stop orders, and I just wait until they get hit. And also set your stop loss and take profit. Is it also helping you to working a full-time job to manage your time efficiently?
I would say so. That's definitely my style. Is when I put an order in, I have my limit in, I have my stop loss in, and I have my PT, my target in, all three. So technically I could be sleeping and it could fill and hit either target or stop loss by the time I wake up, and either way I'm okay with it because risk is controlled, that type of thing. But a similar setup of like I don't want to be watching the charts all day, and I think that with your ecosystem and your platform, I'm able to set orders, and those orders have been very, very consistent and reliable. So it's nice to be able to kind of set and forget and just let those things play out.
Yeah, great. That's really nice to hear. And Jordan, can you guide me a little bit through the moment you started trading and the point where you are right now? Because you started somewhere and you had your journey, of course. So I'm really curious about that journey from the moment you got into trading, actually.
Sure. Yeah. So it was July of 2020 when I downloaded like the Robinhood app or something with horrible commissions, horrible fees, horrible spreads, like just the intro trading app. I followed a couple paid groups for a little while, trying to just understand basic price action and basic markets. And I'd say for the first maybe 2 years, I was pretty much not not taking my own calls. And maybe for the last year, I've really started planning my own trades, trading my own calls, and trying to ignore some of the noise of people that I very much respect, but like want to try to independently navigate the market. And sometimes that means drowning out conflicting opinions or conflicting ideas with traders that you trust and respect. And
Okay.
so maybe the last year or so, I've felt like I'm doing my own calls, and maybe the last 6 months, I've felt some pretty decent success from those.
Okay, okay. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are trading right now for 3 years, that right?
Trading might be a little bit generous. I would say for the first year or two, I was more copying or trying to trade, but only in the last year do I feel like what I've been doing could really be called trading, from an understanding of price action, understanding of why price is moving the way it is. So technically 3 years, but really I feel like the first year or two were just intro, getting my feet under me.
Yeah. So since actually this year you become maybe consistently profitable and you started doing your own trades. So what
Mhm.
was the trigger that you had enough confidence for yourself that you said, okay, right now I'm going to do it completely on my own?
Sure. I don't know if there was one aha moment. It was more after a while I started kind of getting my own ideas, and what I thought was going to happen maybe differed from other traders that I respect and trust, and kind of think that they know what they're talking about. And at that point was when I really just started putting smaller amounts of money on the line, just to kind of see if I did see something that they didn't see, or if just to see if my analysis was kind of starting to head in the right direction. So I would say really only the last year have I been trying that, and really only the last 6 months have I felt like halfway consistently successful in that.
Okay, that's good. That's really good. And in your journey, like you said to me that the first 2 years of your trading journey, if we can call it, you were
Hmm.
mainly like learning, checking others, seeing how others are doing, and then
Yep.
this year you become like profitable. So, what was for you, from a personal point of view, the hardest thing to learn in the past 3 years to become to the point where you are right now?
Risk management and position sizing. I think a lot of people can read a chart and say that's trending up or that's trending down or that's just chopping sideways, but to be able to execute with an appropriate position size relative to your portfolio size, and to put realistic stops and realistic price targets, I would say that is maybe the hardest part of the execution, and executing safely. I think I've blown up several accounts, just thinking, oh, for sure it's going that way, or there's no way it goes back down there, and then Elon tweets, or Binance has some FUD, or I'm exclusively a crypto trader, by the way, so I should
Yeah.
mention that.
Mhm.
But it's definitely just staying small, staying composed, not overexposing myself, or over leveraging myself has been the hardest part.
Yeah. And right now, if you can give it a number from a scale from 1 to 10, where are you right now looking at risk management, the thing you for yourself is the hardest part to learn, where you are right now?
I would say right now I'm a solid 7.5 or 8 out of 10, like C plus, B minus territory. I still have room to grow, but I'm
Mhm.
not failing tests and blowing up accounts anymore.
No, that's it, because I of course I checked your trades before, and you are not failing a lot of challenges. In fact, actually, you didn't fail any challenge yet in Bright Fund, right? So
Correct. Yeah, I'm very
yeah,
fortunate. To be fair, the market conditions have been really nice these last couple of months, and
yeah.
so I don't pretend to think that I could not mess up, not I don't think I'd have 100% success rate in every market conditions, but the last month or two it's been very nice conditions, and I've been very fortunate to come out clean.
Yeah, definitely. That's also what I hear from other crypto traders, and we have a lot of crypto traders within the ecosystem. And of course, the last 2 3 months, more volatility, more volume within the market. So it's more fun to trade crypto right now than it was like 1 year ago, or one actually half a year already. But
Hmm.
How did you experience that period? Because the period where we are in right now is completely different from the period where we were 6 months. So can you tell me a little bit how you experienced that period?
Sure. I would say I got my butt kicked as a good summary of that period. It was definitely when I was still learning price action fundamentals and really like testing and trialing my own setups and my own calls. So I think it was the perfect storm of like low liquidity conditions and inexperience with my own calls, and I was just getting my butt kicked left and right.
Mhm.
And I do think I felt some success in my strategies before kind of the turning point with liquidity and with volatility over the last couple of months. And it was just perfect timing that I found my footing in chop conditions, and then we got some nice conditions that I could kind of milk and really ride.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you're also looking forward to the upcoming period, right? Especially in the crypto market. Can
Oh
imagine.
yeah, very hopeful.
Yeah, can imagine
Yeah,
it.
just hope the volatility continues.
But you still, and there are a lot of traders who get their butt kicked, as you say, and they quit because, of course, maybe they think, okay, it's not for me. But you persist and you kept on going. What was the reason why you kept on going, even when your butt get kicked?
I think because I enjoy it. Like I generally am very interested. I to me it is the most fun, addicting game that I've ever played is the trading game. I don't think I would have persevered if it wasn't interesting and thought provoking and if it wasn't fascinating to me, I don't think I would have persevered through a couple years worth of butt kickings. But I do think you have to love it enough to get to the mastery point. I think it's really hard to get to the mastery point in anything that you don't love doing just for doing sake.
Oh, especially that's completely correct, and you have to love what you do because otherwise, indeed, you quit and you are searching for someone else. So that's also something that a lot of traders can learn from. So next question is, because you're already trading with BrightFunded for quite a while, and what I'm really curious about is where did you actually hear about BrightFunded, and why did you end up choosing BrightFunded as your prop firm?
Sure. So I heard about BrightFunded through one of your ambassadors or partners, Crypto Lala. He's one of my teachers, a good guy, and a part of Chroma Trading. So he was doing like a giveaway. I think there were like two 25K accounts he was giving away, or challenge, two 25K challenges. I was not fortunate enough to win either of those giveaways, but it brought your platform into my awareness, and I checked it out, and I heard good things about the spreads, and I heard good things about the commissions, and I thought that seems like something that I would be worth. I hadn't seen any prop firms in the past that made me say I like them enough, or they look like a good enough platform enough that I was willing to throw some challenge money at it and take that risk. But I trusted Lala, and I liked your platform, and I liked everything you guys were putting out. So I thought, if anybody, these guys are worth it. Let's roll the dice and give it a try. And that's when I tried the first 10K challenge.
That's nice. And the rest is history, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
good. So how did actually, how has trading with us, with BrightFunded, differed from your previous trading experience, if any, of course?
Sure. I would say I love the spreads, and the fees are something I've never experienced being that low. I think in the US we're pretty limited as far as exchanges that we can use and prop firms that we can use. And so I've kind of I've had to use exchanges that maybe had a little more slippage or higher fees than I would have liked, just because I didn't have access to the best options. But I do feel like through you guys, I am getting as great of conditions as I could ask for, which is very tight spreads, very low fees, and a very intuitive, glitch-free trading I guess app, because I'm a mobile trader. I normally do it from my phone, and so
Mhm.
I appreciate that your mobile app is very intuitive and very convenient, and I've experienced very few challenges on it as of yet.
That's amazing to hear. That's really amazing to hear. So, what I'm also really curious about, especially also for our listeners, is how has trading actually via prop firms, via BrightFunded, pretty much changed your life in a way that you can do what you love right now?
Sure. So I mean, I do see in the future, I'm hopeful that, BrightFunded and other trading endeavors are a way to transition me to like full-time trading, maybe a few years out. I would like to eventually transition into working from home full-time, just trading the markets. But right now it's changed my life and my ability to like not have so much of my capital tied up on exchanges. It feels good to not have to put money in different exchanges that, we've seen FTX collapse. There's the problems with Woo over the weekend, Binance FUD. I think everybody's skeptical to keep a lot of their money on someone else's platform. And the idea that with you guys, I really only have to like keep my profit on there, and even only for a couple weeks at a time, really frees up my capital and reduces my anxiety that like if something were to happen large scale in the crypto market, like I could lose everything that I have on a certain exchange or a certain prop firm.
Yeah, that's something that is completely different, and it's something where prop firms are really beneficial from. For example, looking at brokers, you just
Mm-hmm.
pay a challenge fee upfront. You can't lose more than your initial challenge fee, and the possible upside is, of course, very big. But I guess, and from my point of view, it's good to have a combination with it. So of course you have your cryptos in the long term on a ledger or whatever, and you're
Mm-hmm.
trading short term via prop firms. That's for me
Exactly.
the ideal combination, of course. So that being said, our listeners are very curious about what you're currently trading at BrightFunded. So out of curiosity for myself, our listeners as well, can you provide me with some insights in your BrightFunded accounts? How many challenges do you currently have, and what accounts are you currently trading on?
Sure. So I've passed 3 challenges. I passed a Mars challenge, a Jupiter challenge, and a Saturn challenge. So all in all, that's like 310K worth of bright funded monies. I think that I'm looking forward to kind of trading more of the bigger accounts, those I've recently unlocked, and so I'm excited to kind of start trading a little bit heavier. But as of now, 3 challenges attempted, 3 challenges passed, and looking forward to more. I'm currently like kind of saving my trade to earn tokens so that hopefully I can open up a fourth account, like the 100K account with a 100% profit split is kind of what I'm in the back of my head I'm looking towards.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, that's the beauty of the trade to earn program, right? That you can like earn along the way, even yeah, during your challenges, earn bright funded tokens in the funded phase as well, and unlock some trading perks that can really benefit your trading journey with bright funded. It's amazing to hear. Already got a nice payout, so that's also really nice.
And
And sorry.
sorry, on that note, I was just excited that my first payout did cover the fees for all 3 challenges. So at this point, it kind of feels like I'm playing with house money a little bit, and that's a nice position to be in.
Oh, definitely, and that's also the beauty of prop firms, right? You can yeah, purchase challenges, and one payout can almost cover all your challenge fees right away. So that's the beauty, and yeah, the beauty of the business model. So Jordan, since you're a pretty successful trader within the ecosystem of BrightFunded, our listeners and of course myself as well are also very curious about your trading style. So can you tell me a little bit about your trading style? What kind of trader are you? What time frames do you check, and what pairs actually do you keep an eye on?
Sure. So I would call myself just a very typical price action trader. Like I like to get most of the information that I'm looking for through just the body of the candles and the wicks of the candles and the overall trend. I think market structure is a big one for me. Supply and demand. I really don't try to make it overcomplicated. There are some indicators that I check for like confluence, but really most of what I'm doing is based on price action and whether it's trending or whether it's going sideways. And I would say I'm a big believer in high time frame levels, but low time frame execution. So I think that I generally start charts looking at the 1 day or the 1 week, and then I'll break it down to the 4 hour or the 1 hour, and then I'll try to enter based off like a 15-minute chart. In a perfect world, I would love to be in and out of a trade within a few hours, maybe a day or two is kind of my sweet spot. I'm not really a scalper where I'm in and out every couple minutes. And I don't love the emotional ups and downs of weeks long swings. And so for me, a couple days is kind of the sweet spot as far as how long I would like to be in a trade.
Yeah. And is it also depending on your full-time job that this strategy you basically, you wrote beside your full-time job so you can manage both alongside each other?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I do try to, mornings and evenings and maybe during my lunch break, I try to get in and check the charts. But for the most part, I definitely tweaked my system to fit a full-time job. Although I do hopefully if I were ever to go full-time, I would try to keep that system as is, just because to me, being on the charts all day, every day is a little bit exhausting, like scalping all day. And I don't love the emotional ups and downs of holding something for a month or two. So it just fits my personality as well as my schedule, I think.
Yeah, that's the most important. And also behave you from over analyzing, guys. Know a lot of traders that are just over analyzing the charts. And if you do your analysis, you have your strategy, you have your plan, just execute it and indeed put your magic on the chart.
Yep, 100%. I think set it and forget it. And that's my style. At least I think I've psyched myself out and exited trades before it hit my stop. And I'm a big believer in like I control my risk, and if my stop hits, but I don't want to be psyching myself out and trying to exit early. I've found for me personally that just has not been very successful. Although I know many other traders who are successful at exiting early, it just doesn't seem to fit my style.
No, that's it. And that's also one of the things. It's good that you mentioned it. It has to fit your style. That's the most important. It has to fit your personality. And that's also something where traders sometimes are mistaking and are also sometimes are looking at other traders and actually copying their complete trading style. But if this particular strategy doesn't fit your personality, your personal values, it's not gonna work. So that's something you did amazingly good.
Well, thank you. And I do think that's the importance of like learning from a million different people and picking different things from different teachers to kind of amalgamize your own little style. You take pieces from everyone and suddenly you kind of have this piece together thing that fits your preferences and fits your personality.
Exactly. And what pairs do you keep an eye on, Jordan, within the crypto space?
Sure. So I am very much a fan of trading like higher cap altcoins. So BTC and F, I watch those as far as like market direction and kind of get a sense. I think most altcoins follow the big dogs. But I have found I'm not very successful at specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're a little bit choppy for me. So I really like the percentage moves, the volatility in altcoins. And so I think for me, the bigger altcoins, AVAX, Sol, Matic, I'd say anything that's maybe on like the top 50 of overall market cap and is altcoin is something that I'm interested in trading.
Yeah, so some amazing trades on Sol like past 2 weeks, right?
Yes, very much. Sol has been a good one. AVAX has been a good one. I know we're going to get in a little bit to share my screen and go over an AVAX trade, but I was very fortunate to pass phase 2 of my 200K account with just a single AVAX trade, and that was conditions don't always allow for that, but when they do, I really try to milk it.
Can imagine it. And looking at your risk management strategy, because that's something which is incredibly important, especially within the crypto scene. Can you share a little bit about your risk management strategy? So do you always use a stop loss, or do you have like other ways to manage your risks for the trades?
Sure. So yeah, I'm a big believer when I set my order, whether it's market or limit, I include my stop loss and I include my price target just because crypto is so volatile and I've seen so many like random unexpected news events like either rip the trade right in my direction and I wouldn't have taken profit in time or immediately stop me out. And so for me, as a way to make sure I don't blow up any more accounts, I have a hard rule for myself where I make sure I'm not allowed to execute an order without a stop loss in place, just because it can be so slippery in the crypto world.
Yeah. So always a stop loss. And where do you set your stop loss? Is it 1%, 2% of your account? How do you manage that?
Sure. So I think percentage of account is the best way to look at it. I think that is what's helped me trade my own little, 1 or 2K accounts on different exchanges. That's helped me trade the 10K account on BrightFunded. And I'm going to use the same strategies for the 100 and the 200K accounts, which is realize how big your portfolio is. I don't like risking more than maybe like 2 to 3% of my portfolio on a specific trade. I think that if you're only risking 2 or 3%, then you shouldn't be getting like overly emotional. If it goes against you, you're less likely to panic sell. And a few 2 or 3% trades, assuming your risk to reward is solid, I mean, it definitely can pay the bills if you're consistent. And so I don't like swinging for the fences. That has gotten my butt kicked more times than I've would like to admit. And so I'm learning to scale down and position size accordingly. And so that's kind of my key. Is I realize where I analyze, I realize where I want to enter, how far the stop is from, I guess, where do I think my invalidation is? Like if I'm right, it definitely shouldn't go back there. I do the calculations, entry to stop, and then that's how I decide my position size of if I'm buying AVAX at 20 and I think if I'm right, it shouldn't go back to 19 and I want to risk 1 grand, I'll buy 1,000 AVAX. So I kind of do it backwards
Yeah.
as a way to just make sure I'm not oversizing.
That's really important, especially with prop firm trading, because in the crypto space, you can have some events that are unexpected and can go
Absolutely.
straight into through your stop loss, actually. So that's really nice to hear. And speaking about emotions, you already told like something small about it, especially in the crypto market. Emotions are playing a big part. So how do you manage your emotions, especially during like volatile market conditions, or maybe when you face like a serial of losses in your trading?
Sure. I think those are two very different scenarios, and I handle them a little differently. I think that as far as volatility and stress in the moment, I think coping skills are very important. I'm a big fan of like diaphragmatic deep breathing. I'm a big fan of like cold exposure, exercise, body movement, those things. If you're feeling like stressed and worried and you don't want to panic sell, puke the bottom, that type of thing. I think coping skills are very important. But on that note, I also think position sizing and risk management is very important. And like I said earlier, if you're truly only risking 2 or 3% of your portfolio, I don't think it's likely that you'll be experiencing this huge influx of emotions if the trade goes against you. So I would say manage your risk appropriately and cope through the turbulence, because I don't know a better way than that. Beyond that, when I wasn't managing my risk appropriately, when I wasn't coping as much, I was panic selling a lot. And then I was stopping myself out of trades that I didn't need to be stopped out of.
You can imagine that. So you train yourself in situations off the charts, like ice bath and those kind of stuff, to manage your emotions well in like stressful situations, right?
Yeah, and even if I have to stay watching the chart, I'll do a lot of like deep belly breathing, which
Mm-hmm.
really seems to calm the mind and calm the body. And so that's kind of my strategies for stress. As far as if I'm on like a losing streak, I find taking a break for a day or a couple days and just resetting, doing hobbies, spending time with family, loved ones, friends. I think if you're in a losing streak and you're in a funk and you're just kind of getting down on yourself, the worst thing you can do is like try to make it all back and stare at the screen until you've recovered. I think you're going to dig yourself a hole more often than you pull yourself out in those situations.
Oh, definitely, definitely. That's also how it works, like behind the charts, but also in like other job, other things. Just take a step back, spend some time with your loved ones, engage yourself in fun and enjoying situations, and come back later, a couple of days later, maybe a couple of weeks later, even, because there's no hurry, there's no rush to engage yourself in trades that you don't have to into. So that's really
I
valuable, and I really like how you manage your stress, because I'm also a huge fan of emotional, actually engage yourself in like stressful situations, for example, an ice bath or an ice shower, to
Mhm.
manage well besides in like usual day-to-day operations. So that's something I really like.
I agree 100%. I think if you're doing the right behaviors day to day, if you're getting good nutrition, if you're exercising, if you're doing cold showers, ice baths, you are increasing your body's tolerance for stress, and that generalizes to the charts, that generalizes to every part of life, as you're getting yourself stronger and more resilient and more perseverant, and that absolutely applies to trading.
Exactly, exactly. Nice, very valuable, Jordan. Thanks for that. And I'm also really curious about, can you share your screen and
Sure.
take me through an analysis of like a recent profitable trade? So
Absolutely, I can.
let me, there we go.
All right, we are back. Sorry about that. Okay, so I wanted to take you through my AVAX trade, which was what helped me pass phase two on my, I think it's my Jupiter account. And I was very excited. It was my third challenge, to be fair, so I felt like I'd already kind of gotten the hang of the ecosystem and the platform a little bit. And so I was feeling like, why not try something a little fancy, see if I could pass it in one trade. So like I said before, I'm a big fan of like price action as a whole. I think that should be the fundamentals. And if we scroll out to like a 4 hour chart, I was watching AVAX and I saw that more or less it had reclaimed this range low around here. So this was like the end of October when I saw, okay, we have this macro range low, and we have now gotten below it, tried to get through, back up. This is when I started looking for longs in AVAX. When I saw this old range low that used to be support, that became resistance, had now gotten back to support. So I was looking for longs. I'm a big fan in like trusting the trend, and the trend is your friend until it, kind of trend continuation until it fails.
So you really narrow it down. Sorry to interrupt you, but you really narrow it down from a daily chart to a 4 hour chart, and now you are in the 1 hour chart, right? Okay.
Yes, exactly. I always start higher time frame and definitely go down to as low time frame as I can to execute. So yes, once over here it reclaimed this range low. I was playing these kind of ups and downs on my own account, and then at that point it was a strong enough trend where I was like, okay, I should try it on my funded account. So I forget what exactly happened here the day before, but when I see something like this during a big uptrend, I think that's a liquidity grab. They just stopped a lot of people out who went long here. And if we can kind of close back up here, that to me says that was a flush, that was taking stops, that was taking liquidity, and that we're going to continue higher. So the day before I made the trade, I saw this. This is like a little demand zone. It broke through, reclaimed, and the day of the trade, I saw it wick down and test the demand zone one more time. And when it closed back here, I think I took the trade right in here in this green candle on the 1 hour, because I saw it's in an uptrend. It just stole a lot of liquidity. It retested the demand zone. If I'm right about this idea about trend continuation, it should continue up from here. And it really shouldn't retest this demand zone again. So that's kind of where I decided to put my stop loss. And I kind of illustrated that over here, which was if I entered here at like 1330, I think it shouldn't go down here to 1280. And so that to me meant I have about 50 cents worth of stop. So I was on my 200K account and I said 50 cents worth of stop. If I went, and I guess let me back up just a little bit. There was a supply zone over here that I marked out as a target. Yes, so this sell-off back here in July was clearly huge resistance, and so I marked that out as like a target. So you get back over to here, and I said, okay, so if I have 50 cents worth of stop and my target is about, I don't know, what is that, $1.50, that's like technically possibly a 2-to-1 risk to reward, or if it tested through it, maybe closer to a 3-to-1 risk reward.
Exactly.
So on a 200K account, obviously the daily drawdown limit is 5%, which is like 10K. And I didn't want to risk my whole daily drawdown limit on one play. but I kind of cut that in half and said, okay, I'll risk 2.5% of my account, which on a 200K account is 5K. And if there's 50 cents worth of room before my stop and I want to risk 5K, I went for 1,000 AVAX. Or maybe no, I went for 10,000 AVAX. Knowing that if 10K AVAX went down 50 cents, I would lose 5K, which is roughly 2.5% of my account, which is in my mind the ideal amount to be risking. So I have my entry, I have my where I'm wrong. If it breaks down through here, I think it's going to keep going down. So I size accordingly for a 5K risk, more or less 2.5%. And I recognize that this is a resistance that I think will be pretty strong. And basically 2.2 R was what I actually got out of it when I exited. So I risked 5K.
Actually, the 5% you need to reach.
Yes. Exactly. So I risked 5K, 2.5% to make 10K, which was 5%. And that is the phase 2 goal criteria.
Yeah. Amazing. So did you actually, what's pretty funny to see is that you reverse engineer it. So you first check how much what actually the playing room is, let's call it. So in this case, it was 50 cents. So in that way, you determine how much AVAX, in this case, in this trade, you'd like to buy. And from there, you set your target but also you set this target based on your phase 2 account. So what I'm really curious about is if you, for example, traded on a spot wallet or on maybe a phase 1 account, were you also setting your target like this, or did you maybe set your target a little higher?
I think if I were on my own account or if I was on phase 1, I would probably take a partial TP there. I'd maybe take like half. I would move my stop up to like break even, and I would maybe see if it had a little more juice would be my plan. But you're right, because it was exactly 5% and that was all I needed, I just totally ejected there knowing that was a decent resistance spot. But I don't always fully exit a trade right after one move. Just in this situation, it was all that I needed to pass the phase, and I thought, why the heck not?
Great. Thanks for the analysis, Jordan. Really valuable. How analyze this, and especially also on a crypto pair, because that's something where our community is very curious about. So thanks for that. So thanks for the analysis, Jordan. Really valuable again. So to actually wrap up the interview, I've got some final questions for you. So since you are already in the trading world for a pretty long period, since this year you became consistently profitable, you did everything from yourself. So right now it is approximately 11, almost 12 months. So what's your advice actually to a trader who is not yet consistent and is working towards his first funded star account at BrightFunded?
Focus on fundamentals. I think price action, market structure, supply, demand are almost all that you really need. And I think kind of a theme we've been talking about today is focus on risk reward, stops, targets as a percentage of your total portfolio. Like it's the same with a 1K account as it is with a 10K account, as it is with a 100K account. If you can only risk 2% and pull out 4%, like you should be able to pass a challenge at 10K versus 200K. It's the same system. It's just tweaking the variables a little bit as far as how big the account size is.
So that would be the advice. And you also talked a lot about actually working on your mental health. And I know that you work on your mental health in various ways, like from ice baths to like going to the gym, working out day by day. So do you also have an advice looking at your emotion during trading and your mental health during your trading journey?
Absolutely. I would say focus on building a healthy lifestyle. Exercise, nutrition, time outside, doing hard things. I think all of those will build your resilience and your perseverance as a human, and those things will give you confidence and will help you, navigate some turbulence as a trader.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. So my final question, Jordan, is you are currently working full time and you are already performing very well on the charts. So looking at your trading journey, what are your goals actually for the next year, and what are your goals for the next 5 years?
Sure. So for the next year, I would love to just kind of fine tune my system and really, I think there's a couple of my setups that I could still tweak a little bit. I still have some behavior impulses that I would like to get under control. I think I still have a slight tendency to want to like oversize, or occasionally I get the urge to swing for the fences. And so I would like to master a little more self-discipline and fine tune my system over the next year or so. And then I would say within 5 years, I would love to be profitable enough as a trader that I could do that full time, and maybe use that as a way to buy my first house.
That's cool. That's really cool. So is it also like a huge goal for you to quit your daily job and to become a full-time trader?
I think in due time it is. I really enjoy my job. I enjoy helping and being a counselor and all that fun stuff. But as I look to the future, I would also like to maybe start a family in like 5 years. And at that time, by the time I'm looking to start a family, I would love to be full-time trading, just so I can be more present and more available and like raising kids and all that fun stuff.
Nice, man. Really lovely goals. Lovely goals. And I think what I predict is that you are on the right time, especially looking at the crypto market, because there are some, fingers crossed, of course. But I guess there is a pretty fun and exciting period coming up, upcoming months and years.
I hope so. I hope we both get the ability to have fun and profit from it.
Exactly, exactly. All right, Jordan, I want to thank you for your presence. I want to thank you for your time. I really enjoyed the interview. Hopefully our listeners as well. So have a nice holiday. Enjoy the Thanksgiving holidays. Make it fun and spend some time with your loved ones, because that's the most important thing in life. So thanks, Jordan, and the last word is on you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being such a present and communicative leader within BrightFunded. I think you guys give a lot of confidence and a lot of assurance with how often you're putting out updates and staying so engaged with the community. And so thank you guys. I think that hard work is not unnoticed, and it does give me and a lot of other traders the assurance that your platform is as low risk as it gets. So thank you for all you guys are doing, and please continue to keep up the hard work, because we are really benefiting from that.
Will do. Definitely. We enjoy it. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. That was another inspiring interview. Jordan only recently got into trading, started 3 years ago, already very successful within the BrightFunded ecosystem, didn't feel any challenge yet, acquired already a couple funded star accounts, and already got a payout that covered all his current challenge fees. So very inspiring. Jordan has an amazing time ahead, especially in the crypto market, and of course also because he only started 3 years ago. I'm really looking forward to his time ahead, what it will bring, because the crypto period is coming up and Jordan will do an amazing job. All right, guys, that was it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification button, show Jordan some love in the comments, the most important, and we see each other at the next one.